Hello, everyone. Welcome to International Women's Day 2024, presented by GDG Los Angeles, GDG Culver City, GDG San Fernando Valley, and a whole bunch of other Google student groups, as well as our Women Tech Makers and Women Tech Makers ambassadors in the local area. We are very, very glad that you have joined us today. We have an excellent slate of panelists and women in AI who are going to speak to you today about some very emerging technologies and topics that we hope you will find very interesting. So, we have a couple of housekeeping announcements. Our code of conduct is posted, but just in case you're not familiar with it, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, so speed read through this for a second while I vamp. The bathrooms are out there to the right, because I know my directions. And there is food out there too, so if you get peckish, go ahead and grab yourself a plate, but we'll have time at the end for more food and networking. So this is more code of conduct stuff. Everybody just be nice. If you see anything, say something. We do not tolerate harassment, and let us know. Organizers, raise your hands if anything is untoward. Thank you. This is our agenda. We will have an introduction about women tech makers from our friend Kubra, the panel, talk on UX design by Ariana, and then AI's impact to the future of work by Jane Yang from Aspecta. And then after that, like I said, networking and some food. We will also have prizes, so while you're watching the speakers, think about how much they are engaging you and how relevant the content is, because those are the questions on the feedback survey, and answering the feedback survey will get you entered into the drawing for the prizes. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our friend Kubra Stengen, who's going to talk about the Women Tech Makers program.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. Welcome. So my name is Kubra. I'm the regional lead for Google Developer Groups and also Women Tech Makers program here at Google. And I'm leading the North America communities. And I would like to just talk about, the Women Tech Makers program. So this program actually started actually more than 10 years ago. And I was a part of it too, back in time in Istanbul. And now I'm kind of leading it for a bit longer. So so Women Tech Makers program is designed to empower women in tech around the globe, and then, kind of create that, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit excited today. So just create visibility and, provide resources for women in tech. And we try to have some initiatives around the Women Tech Makers program. For example, we have the membership. So if you go to the website, you will see the membership link to be a part of the membership. You will get monthly newsletters through the membership program. We will have a lot of perks and benefits for your own service. So that way you can, participate in these type of events, or maybe find, your local area different initiatives. This is one, I will say. The other one is, it's just free, by the way. You don't have to do anything for becoming a member. And for ambassadors, we have ambassadors here who are, let's see, Marsha is one, Emily is one. So those are the ones who are, empowering women here. So through their local, meetups. So that program is still under the website, and you can apply through June 30th. So we still have the application open. So if you want to be a part of the ambassadorship program, just go to the website and click that form. So for ambassadors, I want to say this. You are expected to organize some meetups, or maybe you want to just mentor others, or you want to create blog posts or YouTube content somewhere. So those are the expectations that you can just, create impact in your local areas, in your cities. And that way, just you help other women in tech. So that's how it is. this for ambassadorship. And we have other ones like scholarship and different, types of programs. We create like some stories from you all, just collecting them, and then, like feature you on Google blog posts or some social media channels. So that way you can even, like tell your stories, just create those voices from your own, members. So that way it's just, creating that like level of snowball effect, to reach out to more women in tech. So that's how it is for the program. And I would like to, thank the organizers of this event. We are actually now, creating this impact. Like we had the theme around the International Women's Day this year, Impact the Future. So I love how we are, just creating this impact and also, like affecting the future. So thanks for being here. And hope you enjoy the day. And if you want to reach out to me, you can add me on LinkedIn. My name is Kubra Zengin, and just you can find me throughout the day. And I can share my email if you want to just talk about like Women Tech Makers program or Google Developer Groups program or any other programs that we have at Google. We have other ones for developer communities, and we have an upcoming actually like event. Google I/O is coming up, so you can just even learn more about like those type of signature events from me. So that's all I will say. And once again, welcome, and good to see you all.
Come. Let's come to the stage, everyone. Okay, hi everybody. My name is Sienna Aguayo. I'm one of the organizers of this event representing GDG LA Android. I am a staff Android engineer at a local startup called Tapcart. If you're into Android development either professionally or you'd like to be, please come talk to me. It's my passion, as one might say. I am lucky enough to be introducing our panel today about impacting the future, women leading in AI. Moderating today, we have Michelle Brenner, senior software engineer at Netflix. Next, we have Aksa Fulara, product manager at Google. Naila Khan, software engineering manager at Google. Laura Kanchan, AI ML customer engineer, again at Google. Liz Rothman, attorney and advisor, xrsi.org. And Sarah Asmaro, account executive at Google. So without further ado, please take it away.
Thank you. So as she mentioned, I'm a senior software engineer. I'm also a public speaker. But what I am not is an AI expert. What I am an expert in is knowing what to put on your resume at any given time. And right now, that's AI. So part of my personal goal for this panel is to get everyone here a little more comfortable with both adding AI into their life and their job, and also understanding what it is and what opportunities are out there to build companies, to be a part of the movement, and to just get excited about it. So without further ado, we have a very diverse panel of AI expertise here. So with the first question, I'd love to hear from everyone and get a little intro, and then with the rest, everyone can just, speak up as they feel moved. So if you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your work with AI and why you decided to join the panel today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everyone. My name is Aksa Fulara. I'm a product manager. And what I do here at Google is I help build products that take the best of AI and the best of tech to solve business problems. And my expertise over the last 7 to 8 years has been in across different areas. In Google Assistant, I worked on conversational AI. In cloud, I worked on recommendations, AI, and data analytics products like dashboards. And right now, I'm in ads where I work on measurement. And one of the reasons why I joined this panel is even after working on so many years on AI, I don't think I'm an expert either. But I do want to, there's two things. I do want to share my learnings and hopefully inspire the women and everyone here in the room. So that's one. Second, I do think representation and visibility matters, especially for the young women here, especially from the minority backgrounds. Having examples in front of you that you also can be successful, you also can be on the cutting edge of technology at the best of AI. I want to share like examples that you can be here, and so I think that representation matters a lot, and that's why I'm excited to be here on the panel.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. I just want to say I am so excited and thrilled to be here today. I've been always fascinated with how much innovation is happening in AI and the impact that it has on our society and our economy. And I think diversity plays a huge role in it. So with my passion combining AI with diversity and really supporting women in tech in general, I got super thrilled and excited to be part of this because I think this is an exciting opportunity, a perfect blend of both. So I'm here today to share my experience and learn new things from all of you who share a similar passion. A little bit about myself. I am an engineering manager at Google. I lead a team that enhances customer support for Google. So if you've had any issues, please do not contact me. But how do we do it? So we do it by building AI products that enable our agents to provide customer insights and issue insights and help and resolve customer issues in a timely fashion and very accurately. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. I am so excited to be up here with everyone. This is great. And thank you everyone for being here. I'm Lauren Conchin. I'm a customer engineer. And I've also been working really closely in the product team on our text-to-speech API and working with speech modeling, which is a really interesting AI subject right now on realistic voices. And so I think what I'm excited to talk about today with you is how we all have our own voice in the engineering space and how to kind of, even if we're not in a management position and we're not a leader in our role and title, we still have that voice, and we're talking about how this AI affects us personally and how it will affect our customers. So just want everyone to feel like you have that voice and chiming in on Zoom, whether you're raising your hand or just interrupting in those remote meetings. Yeah, a little bit about me.
Hi, everyone. My name is Liz Rothman. I'm an attorney and advisor, and I'll go over a little bit of what I do, although it spans quite a big breadth of area. But I just want to say that this is such a fast evolving and moving field that nobody should feel like they're behind. It's one of the places where if you are interested, jump in, get in there, learn everything that you can, and that is how you'll get involved and ahead in this field. And everybody has something to contribute here. AI will touch pretty much every area of our society and globally. And so I think it is, no matter what you do and what areas you're in right now, just get interested, get involved, and you'll find your path. So I'm an attorney. I do a lot of work in the AI space. I also work with a nonprofit called XRSI, and we are a standards developing and research nonprofit developing privacy and safety standards, and also working on accessibility in technology. So accessibility in technological accessibility, just having access to new technologies, and then also inclusion and diversity initiatives as well. In addition to that, I do a lot of work with AI-generated output and intellectual property, so on the copyright and patent side. And then I'm also currently editing the AI and the Law Encyclopedia for Edward Elgar, which has been a very exciting and interesting project, and really expanded my horizons even of all of the areas that AI will touch in the future. So I'm super excited to be here and hopefully add a little bit of perspective from my background into this panel. And excited to be here with all the Googlers on the panel as well.
Awesome. I will close this out. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I serve as an account executive here at Google. And I also work direct with private equity firms as an advisor, both direct to client and direct to private equity. The conversation is how can we be leaning into AI to drive business growth? And the reason why I wanted to join this panel especially was I find it fascinating that if we think of any industrial revolution that's ever happened, when were women ever at the forefront hosting an event called Women in Anything, having these conversations so early on? So when we think about the conversation of equality or equity, this might be our opportunity to level the playing field a little bit. So I'm excited to be here with my fellow panelists, and I'm excited to speak more with each of you.
Wow, there's so much expertise here. I feel like I could talk to each of you for hours, and you're all going to be in my next podcast. You volunteered, you didn't even know it. Let's start with, every day it seems like there's a new AI tool or product. How do you suggest people find the right ones for them that actually can work and enhance their lives?
I can kick us off. I think maybe the question, if we zoom out a little bit, is what problem are you looking to solve? And then when you find that problem that you're looking to solve, how can you scale it? So if you think about like, what can AI do for me? I'd actually look at the problem at hand and I'd say, if our focus is to be more efficient with AI, how can I drive efficiency in whatever it is that I'm doing? So I would almost work backwards a little bit. And I think a lot of the Google advertisers, a lot of the clients that I work with are asking the same question of like, what tool to plug in, as almost as though it's like a Chrome extension we plug in. But I encourage everybody to think a little bit bigger and take that zoomed out approach of saying like, okay, we know the capabilities, but what is it that we can be doing to drive more efficiency in terms of whatever it is that we're doing, and what problem is it that we're looking to solve, so we then be more efficient and work backwards.
I can add some perspective as well. So I'll admit that I'm a shopaholic. I love to shop, and when things go, in the next direction, that's where you'll find me in a mall. I like to think of this as if you're going to shop for a product or clothing. So in my mind, there's a 5-step process actually. You really start with what you need. So what is the problem you're trying to solve? For example, if let's say, cooking is not your passion and you want to optimize cooking, you think about, okay, what is the process in my workflow where I can optimize? Let's say get an air fryer. So that's how you start solving the problem and really thinking about what part of the problem can I operationalize or can I optimize. That'll help you at least find a goal. The second one would be really understanding the requirements. So think about the different brands that are available for an air fryer, right? How do you narrow down your search criteria? What are the things that are most important to you to solve that problem? When you think about AI tools, think about, if you're going for a tool, how are they planning to scale? What are the feature set of functionalities they're providing? How are they thinking about safety? Those are some of the things that you want to think about. The second one is really finding that intersection of your needs with the feature set that tool is providing. So thinking about, okay, in the next X number of years, will there be support for that? Are they really thinking about the goals that are important to you? Is this, should it be text-based solution or an image-based solution? So really narrowing down and thinking about the requirements that you need and if that tool is able to provide you that. The fourth one will be around pricing and deployment and the support of that tool. Does it fall in your budget? Oh, this is very, the air fryer is too pricey. I want to go for a short run. Or, this is the best brand. I trust this brand. I'm, willing to make that investment upfront. And the last one, don't shy away from trying it out. So experimentation is going to be one of the most important things. Most of these AI tools, they offer free trials. So just try it out, hands-on, see how it operates, see if it works for your process, and then that'll help you narrow down that decision.
I think to echo a little bit of what was just said around trying things out, experimenting, and making sure that, for me, the most important thing right now is kind of like playing and figuring out what these tools can actually do. So separating out the hype from what the reality is can be very important, because otherwise you may try some of these tools for your business. You may waste a lot of time doing that, decide none of them are actually what you need at this moment, and then decide that, AI is just not what I need in my business. But really, it's going to continue to evolve over the next many years, right? Things are moving quickly, but there's also an incredible amount of hype. And so separating out some of that and realizing what some of these tools may or may not be able to do for your business at this time, or for you personally for your own productivity, is really important to keep in mind as you start playing with these tools and researching them for your business. But I think, for me, the first part should be the experimenting. Let's see what this tool actually does, not what the marketing says that it does at the moment.
That actually segues perfectly into my next question, because I was going to talk about the gold rush aspect of AI, where the research of AI has been around for decades, but all of a sudden it's becoming incredibly popular as the tools become more democratized and we can all set up new companies whenever we want. So as creators and technologists and people who are looking for AI jobs, how do you determine if a company or their main product is viable and something that you think you should spend all your time working on?
I can kick us off. So I think I'm going to echo a couple themes that were there here. Is it doesn't start with AI. AI is not like a magical potion going to solve, bring like X number of like growth and bring efficiencies, but you have to start with your problem, what business problem you're trying to solve for. And instead of looking at where I can fit AI or insert AI in my workflows, start backwards where what are the top problems I'm going to try and solve this year? Is it growth? Is it efficiencies? And then when you narrow it down to those goals, what are the specific use cases for your business, for your specific teams? And then look at where AI fits in that. And so I think there's a couple themes. One is like from your personal workflows, you have to get comfortable with AI before recommending at a team level or your company or your objectives levels. And so for getting comfortable there, my sort of like one of the go-tos is reading more about that space in general. And what I have found beneficial is newsletters, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. Usually these land in your inboxes. I'm not like going to name names here, but I think there's plenty of newsletters. And that way you start getting comfortable, and these have like specific tools, whether that's note taking, whether that's getting video, you're in meetings and transcribing those videos to sort summaries. Those are some use cases. As you start getting comfortable with those in your everyday workflows, whether that's meetings that you attend, and then you sort of expand like what's going on in the space. Then when you try to bring it to your teams, that is when you look at, for those specific use cases, you're looking what's the products out there that Naila, you touched upon, like don't just look at what are the different range of the companies' offerings there, look at, sort of have your criteria in mind right from the get-go, so then you aren't sort of swimming in like an ocean of different options. Is a lot of buzzword right now, but go beyond the buzzword. And then third is like at the end, everything sort of comes down to like what's the business value, because quickly you'll find yourself at the end of this prototype, like in couple weeks, like where did we land? What were we trying to solve? Did we reach there? So I think those would be my, like starting from your personal workflows, getting more comfortable with that, then taking it to your team, then taking it to the companies you work for.
Well, I don't want to just do serious questions because I'm a very silly person. So I'm going to go with a silly question, which is, can you tell us about a time you either got a surprisingly good or surprisingly bad output from an AI tool? And if it was a joke, even better.
I think if anyone has Googled the SoundStorm demo from the AudioLM research team, I think that really blew me away. That allows people to generate conversation and hear audio that just sounds like two people maybe presenting a podcast or something. It sounds unbelievable. It always really freaks me out to hear it laughing, but kind of in a good way. But yeah, I think that's not really a great joke, but is something that certainly surprises me if you've heard it. Has anyone heard that demo before? Yeah. Good homework for everyone.
I can share an example. So recently I had to look at some data analysis. And this I'll be very specific here. It's a specific example I had to do. And I was like, okay, I have to like maybe spend 30, 40 minutes or like maybe an hour. And so I'll give you this example of what I did. I had 1,000 brands that I had to look at and map them to specific verticals. Now this original data already had the 1,000 brands and already had a mapping of the verticals. But then I had 12 standard verticals or segments and categories that I had to map them to. And so like I had to take this list of 1,000 brands which had its own sort of custom verticals and map to my standard list of verticals. I started doing that. I think by 5th or 6th, I was like, this is going to take me a long time. And I think that Gemini use case, like, okay, let me try giving this to Gemini. And I did that, and to my surprise, like that, it was a really good mapping in like, 2 or 3 different prompts, and in less than 5 minutes. Yes, I had to like check over, like a human glance is required. But what I was thinking, like easily allocate 30, 40 minutes, it was like under 10, 15 minutes, a done job. So I'm truly amazed by the power, and yeah.
That's a really fun one. Thanks for sharing that. I can share one too. It's not related to work, but I have twin girls, so they came very excited from their school, and they were like, "Oh, we talked about ChatGPT in school." I was like, "Okay, what do you think? Like, how was it?" No, Mama, I don't think it's good." I'm like, "Why?" They were like, we told ChatGPT, okay, I'm Naila Khan. I want to teach my team AI, so teach me. And then it said, who is Naila Khan or something like that. So they were completely bummed that apparently ChatGPT doesn't know me. But I thought that was hilarious, and a very good example of, sometimes we think of these as very powerful, and they are, there are so many domains where they're really useful. But when it comes to very specific and niche things, there is still a lot of work that we need to do in that space.
And I'll expand on that a little bit. One of the ways that, and this is an example of AI being very good and very bad intentionally at something or giving an output. So, a lot of the models are tuned to be kind of helpful assistants in a way, right? So ChatGPT, you're asking it a question and it's going to try to give you something that's not too crazy outside of the boundaries, or it's going to be, something that is reasonable for you, not hallucinating too much. But models can hallucinate a lot, and that can be actually very interesting to ask them to hallucinate in certain ways. So a lot of the work I do is kind of on the edge of different fields, and so sometimes I'll actually ask the model to turn up what's called the temperature, and then turn up the hallucination somewhat to come up with outside of the box ideas. And sometimes that goes horribly wrong, and sometimes it comes up with very interesting things. So one way to produce good and bad output at the same time.
Awesome. So one of the fears with any new technology is, oh no, we're all going to lose our jobs. This is all going to be able to do our work much better and easier than us. But I want to go in the more positive direction. What are some interesting or unusual jobs in AI that people should be thinking about training themselves up and getting involved in?
Everybody looks over. It's interesting. A lot of the skills that we've built, we'll say over the last 100 years, are what are dubbed as hard skills, right? So it's like the physical skills, the labor, long hours, etc. We all kind of know the drill. Versus if I think of how to operate a Gemini, it's how can you ask better questions so you can get a better output? Imagine if what we're tasking you with now in the next 5 to 10 years, as we just look at the short term of what AI could do for our businesses, is being more thoughtful in the questions that we're asking, in the hopes that it's going to give us an output that could be done all the quicker, all the more efficient than maybe what humans can do on their own. So the skill really that I think about now is it isn't necessarily how can I, roll my sleeves up. It's really how can I pause and be more mindful so that as I'm having a conversation with a Gemini, if I'm not getting the output that I want, all right, maybe I can be asking different questions or can ask the question in a different way. So I find that to be a really interesting skill that we all are going to have to lean back into. Again, it's soft skills, but think about what children do best, other than just the simple stuff. They ask why. They ask questions, and once they master that, they can get outputs quicker.
And I think that's so important. That we can look at that skill as being a way that humans can communicate better as well. One of the things that one of the areas that I'm very passionate about right now is how humans will utilize AI and how we will have this relationship together. But also, in order for humans to have a really symbiotic relationship with AI, we need to have better relationships with each other. And being able to really express yourself mostly in the English language is what we're talking about when we're talking to AI, right? And we have to communicate in various ways that might differ from the ways we would communicate with humans. But I do think that there's a lot of skills that can translate there that will improve our relationships as humans together and our ability to govern AI at the same time.
So one of the cool jobs that I have seen at Google recently is sort of this TPU and GPU architect role, where customers come to you with a really real world problem with, this is what kind of our model needs to be able to do. So maybe a Netflix example is the recommendations AI is kind of a good example, right? How do we provide people with the right suggestions and do that? And we want to build a model that's going to help us do that. We don't want a giant LLM that's going to cost us bazillions of dollars. We want somebody to help us really architect out how much GPU or TPU infrastructure we need to do that. And I think that's a really interesting role that I've seen, where you get to take the real world problem for customers or consumers and tie that into an affordable model. I think that's something that's kind of cool to look into as well.
I can add a little bit if we have time. So when I think about it, I know, the times are changing so much, and sometimes it can, cause a little bit of uncertainty, can cause a lot of stress. So I keep thinking about, okay, what are some of the skill sets that we can hone in and lean in on and build as, we see these advancements in AI. And I can, when I really think about it, it hasn't changed that much. If you see even before, you have to have a good blend of technical skills along with some soft skills. So, with technical skills, okay, what is the domain that you are in? What are some of the technical skills that you can build? If you are in AI, learn about prompt engineering, like Sarah was talking about. Or, if you like some domains that are a mix of AI and specific domains, for example, AI ethics is where some of the laws and policies come hand in hand with the technology. So, figure out what is your passion, how you can build that technical skill and be really good at it. The other aspect, which is more a skill that you can apply in any domain, are the soft skills. How do you navigate ambiguity? How do you, think critically? How can you be innovative to stay ahead of the curve? And, a lot of what has helped me in this space has been just understanding how the world around us is changing. What are some of the thinkers that I admire and leaders that I admire? How are they thinking about solving these problems? How are they thinking about innovation in the next 5 years? And that really helps me do that think big, where, I'm like, okay, maybe this is an interesting problem that I can solve. So having that good mix of technical skills along with soft skills on how you do problem solving, how do you resolve ambiguity, how do you critically think, how do you think big. I think those are, some of the things that can stay alive, even if, no matter how much this technology changes.
Awesome, thank you. So as a software engineer, as soon as I got a chatbot, I became completely dependent on it, and Stack Overflow is missing me very much. They're like, where have you gone? I know you have questions. And one of the things I used to have to do is remember the answers, but now I don't. So I ask the same question over and over again. But one of the downsides is I think about every once in a while is what impact am I having by being wasteful with the technology in terms of climate change and all that compute, and is one day this gonna all go away and maybe I shouldn't have used it to ask like how to make a list in Java 4 times and instead maybe like remembered it one of those times. So let's talk about the problems that we might see from all of that compute use and the relying on that, and what are your thoughts on the long term of that?
Well, I'll kick it off, but I think that the hope is that the compute power is going to accelerate so much that it's going to catch up with our usage. And I don't I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't tell you if that's going to happen. But the reality is that there's a tremendous amount of compute, a tremendous environmental impact, a tremendous amount of cost that goes into running these models. And right now, they have some padding and funding from companies and venture capital and a lot of different places. And it's kind of it's unknown how fast all of these things are going to develop together and where as a society, our access to these models will really be in a couple of years. And so it's a good question, right? What we're using resources maybe not the most efficiently